first. And we're going to be jumping headfirst into our next game, as it's going to be on Bind to kick things off here. Pretty Boyz and Mixup. And look, it's Suede versus Suede in the pistol, and they all have Phantoms. Oh my gosh.
Everybody's a Suede. Everybody's a Suede. You gotta love...
More of a Velvet kind of guy.
The quirks of this UI getting sorted out. Nice kill early on, though, for Stellar. Stellar starting off early here, and it does look like we've got heavy presence here over towards the B site early. 3 players still there, despite one already going down. So if they do actually wind up going into this hit, coaxed in by the early pick, they're going to find themselves with a lot of resistance. But they don't seem to care. They're just getting the kills regardless. I'm trying to find a good place to hide my camera, because wherever I put it on the map, it's covering some sort of useful information here in VMix. But on they go. One more player in Hookah. That's Hunter, who's going to get a pick, but needs to find a little bit more here and is currently unable to do so. Proto, nice trade. Spike should be going down in a really hopeless situation here for Thwifo.
It comes down to one, the Cypher. Inside Hookah, waiting for the smoke to fade as the Brim put one down. There's a cam going up, clear tell that he's right behind it. And it's A Proto who wants to go for the peek. Spam coming through the wall eventually. A Proto will connect with the Ghost, and it will be Mixup winning their pistol round here on the attacking side on Bind. Looking at the roster, Anderson, Hunter, Strong Legs, Pure, and I'm trying to figure out who, is it Thwifo?
I'm trying to figure out who that is, because I did not see Thwifo in the rosters. Let's see. Is that Pure? No, Pure is there. Okay, who we got? It is, in fact, Thwifo. His name is listed as Thwifo. I am not familiar with Thwifo at all. Not sure if that's a change from a different name in another bracket, but I think I recognize every other player in the server right now apart from Thwifo. So interested to see the origins of that particular name and that particular player, and maybe if we might get some surprises here. Gonna be a clear towards the left. It's a Proto trying to come in to clear U-Haul. They're taking the site. Nice use of the arrows, but timing awkward there as he goes for the cyber cage right as Pure peeks back in. So the gun's not in hand when he desperately needed it to be. Spike will be going down here over by the APC. Decent control of the showers still for Thwifo, so it could maybe be a bit of thorn in their sides, but they should still have the weapons to see themselves through, and at this point they've got a decent setup as well to hold off that Spike. If the Sage on the other side has a wall, she could cause some problems just in terms of forcing the defuse, but with its newly weakened state, or not so newly anymore, it's tough to do. Exchange damage here in U-Haul. Bodies dropping left, right, and center, and Mixup just coming out on top of that, but Pure has something else to say. There's still time. The 1v1 now, the nade out, the timing almost perfect, but Stellar just in time will be able to seal the deal there and take the 2-0.
That's an incredibly expensive round coming out for the attack. And you can see it kind of puts their next buy into really bizarre territory. So look at what's coming out. They have a Bulldog, they've got a couple of SMGs, they've got 2 Vandals, whereas on the opposite side, you've got Hunter on the Operator, and you've got 3 Phantoms, 1 Vandal. Light armor, though, for 2, so both teams kind of in a weird state with their cash flow. Whoever wins this one will force their opponent down into a broken territory, and it should be a follow-up round coming in from them. Deep Orb coming out on long. It's the aggressive op play, and it's actually the pistol of Stellar that punishes. They want to try and get out there to pick up that op. It would be a fool's errand, but Strong Legs actually manages to get it. Gonna find 2 quick shots as the Sage manages to even back off and get one more with the classic. It'll come down to 1 for Mixup. It's the Sage in a 1v2. It's Stellar over towards Elbow. Pure is in sight. Thwifo in Hookah. Spike is down in the Octagon. Stellar looking for the position of that player in sight. It'll be Pure who's inside Tuna. And at this point, he's going to back off and grab the Spike. He's a chance to pour it out and take it towards the A site and get a free plant if he wanted. But he might just bait out the rotate.
In this situation as well, I think he had pretty good information confirmed on both players. Knew that one came through the TP based on the audio, and there's been a duel off with Pure, so has some information here. Obviously, he doesn't know if they've rotated, but leaving a little bit of time lets doubt start to creep in their minds. That's exactly what Stellar's going for. You can see there's a bit of hesitation. For the most part, the Pretty Boys, they're sticking to their guns. They're trying to keep it looking pretty, but now Stellar's going to make the move. 25 seconds to go, a little bit more time to work with. And these players haven't inched. They have not moved off of their spot. They are still as statues. Stellar goes looking. He's going to spot the head of the first. Did he see that? Just a little bit, and there he goes. He's got the first kill, has the second as well, confirmed. Brings down to the 1v1. Precious little time. And ultimately, Pure just barely will limp into the next round. Just a shred of health remaining, 6 HP, nearly the clutch for Stellar, but not quite enough.
By the way, I'm getting told by Mel that it's Twifo.
Twifo?
So, yeah, because we decide how sounds are made.
Or Twifo?
Twifo or Twifo. We'll go with Twifo because that's the easier to sound. Twifo, just call him. Just say he's Twiflin. Yeah, we'll say Twifo for now, and somebody can come in and correct us. Whatever. We're going with the flow. Appreciate the correction. It's the only player in the server who I honestly had not heard of until this very moment. Here they go towards the A site. Nice nade coming out there. The damage is hopping down to 67. He's got a pistol around the corner. There's a cyber cage in his way. Looks like he wants to go for the trip smoke execute, and they'll use that sage wall to try to get across. Go ahead and guarantee the plant, potentially. As they get up on top of the sage wall, though, they'll be boosting up over the boxes, so they're not going to have that for the take. They're just going to have to go dry on the dedication on the spike, which is a little bit sketchy, and that's why Stronglegs is here with the punish, finding 3 from the backside of sight, finally traded out by Thief. Kills going back and forth in both directions. The shotgun chimes in with 1 before being taken down by the rifle, and the SMG will clean things up, and we will find ourselves all tied up at 2 apiece. Again, this will be a big round coming in. A lot of weight brought into the round from both sides. The operator is present for Hunter, and rifles across the board for Mixup.
I'm curious to see where they bring that operator early on. Hunter's style, just typically in games, he wants to get aggressive with that initial pick, whether it be in this game or whether it be in his other career in Counter-Strike. You're looking to see Hunter make some waves, and it looks like he wants to go for the early pick out of Hookah. Here he's going to go on the peak, looking for this first shot. There's a raise close up to the left. Might be able to catch him off guard, but they're actually just going to wall it. As soon as they don't get that initial shot, they wall it, play it safe. There's no reason to continue contesting. That satchel actually goes a little bit deep. Think it still does damage up the wall, so that wall should come down shortly. Mr. Gorbachev, he'll be tearing that one down. But the primary hit's going to be coming up A short. There is a player in showers that'll be dueling ciphers if they do actually come through. But for the most part, it's going to be this push up, led by the drone, to gain some space. Pure should have information. Here's an ult coming in to clear U-Haul, but nobody's home. That nade, I think, actually may have caught the top of the box. It is Thief to get the kill on Pure. It's traded by Twifo, but Twifo has his work cut out for him, and again, that presence still has yet to be revealed in showers. Playing it very safe, it's hopping instead to get the kill, so once again, their ace in the hole remains just that, and now a Proto strikes. Spike will be going down. It is indeed planted. 2 players remaining to attempt this retake for the Pretty Boys. They're feeling anything but pretty in this moment. It's getting very ugly indeed. They've got some presence to maybe get back through, but with no one giving them a peek, no one giving them a hint of an angle to fire at, there's really nothing to show for it, and they're actually just going to go ahead and commit to the save. So Mixup do take the lead here, get in the 3rd round, and early rounds, I think we're going to get a very promisingly close game. I'm excited.
The remaining 2 just going to save. That's Mixup. Managed to get onto that A site. 4 players survive. Ults starting to pile up as well on both sides. Coming into the next round, we'll have that Resurrection. We'll have the Neural Theft. We'll have the Showstopper as well for the Raze. We'll also have the Showstopper on the attack side. The Resurrection for the Sage over there, as well as the Neural Theft for Cypher. So overlapping ults right now with a team that has overlapping agent compositions. Kind of interesting to see a little bit more Brim play. Been seeing a lot of Omen lately, and in my personal opinion, I think that Omen is currently a little bit stronger in the meta. Paranoia is just ridiculously good, especially when it comes to locking down U-Haul, or even if you're over on the B site. I've seen some teams, covering the Wii Play Valorant Invitational, saw some teams that were anchoring B with Omen on this map at times. Just using that Paranoia to try and slow things down. I don't necessarily recommend it, but the Omen flash after that buff was just ridiculous. See a nice little, it's not a smiley face, just a straight face. Yeah, we saw a couple of those earlier today as well. I like the nose though. Not many people put that extra effort in there to get a nose in there. Stronglegs currently at the top of the charts for Pretty Boys, 7-4. Don't call him washed. He's performing right now. Remember, at one point in time, he was a premier reject, but he's turned things around.
He certainly has, and I'm assuming calling for this roster as well, because he generally does call for teams, although I don't have that confirmed. Maybe we can get our spy in the chat who happens to be sitting next to him, to reveal that information for us. But always good to see him perform. The old dog's learning new tricks. It's deep shower control either here for the Pretty Boys side. They're going to take a lot of space off of it, presumably getting the orb, at least getting the space. There is someone watching for it, but Twifo looks like he wants to take the fight. He's thinking about it. Dueling cameras from the Cyphers. Information game strong here. They'll recover it and back off. That's a cheeky little camera in the showers. I like that. You're not likely to check that as you're coming through, but it gives you a ton of information, especially off the tripwire. We do have a proto on the other side, just making sure that the rotate is available, but the bulk of this hit is going to come towards B. Once again, the Owl does lead the way. We'll see if it can find something for them to give a hoot about. It's going to be a player in the back, calls 2 back towards spawn as well. Nice timing on the slow, really catches Hoppin out, and he has to really pump the brakes here. Smoke going to come in, but before it does, reveals his dome, and Anderson will take full advantage of that. Hoppin a little impatient coming in with the utility here. The spam could give Anderson back away, but it's Thief instead to get a kill on Strong Legs. Trades up plenty here, but it's looking pretty good for the Pretty Boys. Rez changes the alchemy, but still going to end up in their favor as Purer from beyond the grave gets 2 with the ult.
Nice showstopper coming out from Purer there with the rocket. Keep things close. It's all tied up. This is a best of 1, so this is an elimination match. There's no follow-up after this. Winner moves on, and the loser stays at home. They don't go home because they've already been there because, quarantine. We're staying at home. But 8-4 right now for Purer. He's past Strong Legs. 8-4 for Stellar. The Sage on the opposite side. The Battle Sage is currently duking it out to see who's going to have that higher position on the scoreboard. Got some shock darts coming in from Physic. A follow-up as well. It looks like they're dedicating towards the A site, where right now you have a 2-player hold, but with the aggression currently on long, they've got the Sage and the Brim both pushed down on long B, so the Sova's realizing that he can potentially rotate out of this position. The Aldron's getting him that intel right now in hookah, and they're starting to spot bodies over on short. Nice nade. That'll section them off, so that's kind of a zoning nade, I guess, of sorts. It'll keep half the push on the other side. Tall nade going up on top of the APC. Boombot coming out from Purer as well, but it doesn't make it to its final destination. There's the ult being popped right now. The orbital strike. That's going to make things much more difficult. The camera's going to spot out one as well as they go for the peek onto the site. Strong Legs is going to find 2. There's still the Sage here on site, and that's the last player standing. It's Stellar. Gunned down by the op. 4 players survive the round for Pretty Boys. Fantastic retake coming out from the defense.
Now, you were talking about it. Everyone's stuck at home right now, but in a manner of speaking, you've been going on some serious travels. You started out this morning in Europe, Mark. How does it feel to travel all the way back home in the span of a few hours and swap from a European tournament back down here with us in NA?
Honestly, I love seeing the difference between EU and NA because I see some overlaps, but then I also see how teams approach maps just a little bit differently, and it almost feels like at times NA has set trends and EU has followed, but it was a little delayed. So we're seeing teams now favoring Breach in EU, whereas teams in NA have kind of stopped liking Breach and started putting Omen more into play. But it's funny because at the same point in time, you could say the European teams set that trend initially because they were running Omen-based compositions right off the whip. Right off the rip, they were running Omen, and they were running Raze, and they were running Jet, and we were like, I don't think this makes sense. And now all the NA teams are doing it, and you're like, okay, well, I kind of like this now. I think that, putting a strong individual player like Wardell on the Jet makes perfect sense. I think that Raze on a map like Bind is really good because the utility damage you're able to do on short pushes is insane. This ult coming out right now, that's evident of the fact. There's the Hunter's Fury coming out from the Sova as well. Hunter has to be careful, and that's the exact reason why. Thief had already pushed up, spotting out and tracing the target by following those shocks through the wall. Pure with a nice nade to take out a proto. But the advantage right now heavily in Mixup's favor. They managed to make it work without the greatest of equipment. 2 blast packs coming to sight. Hoppin tries to shoot them before they can land in sight. Hoppin's going to go inside the can, down on just 100 HP with no armor, doesn't fear the fight whatsoever. Swings wide, it's Thief to get the 3rd on the round with the Sheriff. Great round coming in from Mixup as they win the thrifty round, the Eco, over Pretty Boys.
They brought so little into that, just the utility and the pistols that they had on their backs, and now they've kept this close once more, and this is just, it seems to be the tone that we've set early on for this map, is just a bit of a brawl, back and forth, punch, counter punch being hit, no team really able to cement an early lead here as we start to get into the back quarter of the half. Back quarter of the half, I guess that's just the back. Second quarter? Ah, math, fractions, how do they work, Mark? I don't know. That's why I talk for a living instead of doing math.
And we've been seeing recently even the players struggling with math. I don't think we have to, beat a dead horse here, but we know who we're talking about. 250.
We do. We do. A teammate of one of the players in the server right now in Counter-Strike, Hunter, and his teammate, certainly Mr. Tyler Weiss. Thief, 2 nice kills spraying through the bottom lip there of Hookah. Looking for more as well, sticking around. He's hungry, and Thief is going to eat here, stealing away that site, securing the spike plant as well, trying to come through the TP. Pure will actually find the timing to catch off Physic, but in that time, Thief says, you know what? I think I want an ace. Ace not to be had, a 4K. Although what he has to content himself with, but the use of the ult will actually work out here as Stellar is dealt with, and suddenly what was looking to be an absolutely sure thing is anything but. Duifo, the unknown for the two of us, could just pull this off, and he's certainly attempting to. Had their positioning, knows where they'll be coming from, but he doesn't anticipate the wrap, and so Hoppin catches him on the broadside to take the lead from Mixup. Phenomenal round. Coming out from Thief. I mean, just incredible there. Up into the hookah, back fighting through, clearing the site, taking the flank. Really couldn't ask for more.
A back and forth battle like this is really resulting in some awkward economic hurdles for both sides. This time it's affecting Pretty Boys, and you can see the nature of the buy as a result. You've got an armorless shotgun for Stronglegs, SMG for the Cypher as well, pistols for the rest. I mean, they're trying to balance out their cash to a manageable point. Stronglegs going down really low in cash, though. 1,100 for the Sage. Hopefully right now Roy has full kit, because obviously the Sage, very expensive when it comes time to try and buy up all those skills. The wall obviously getting nerfed and increasing the cost, as well as decreasing the HP, as well as decreasing the distance. And now they're talking about nerfing Sage even harder, which,
yeah,
it's a real feels bad man for me. I'm not sure how I feel about that one, but
I don't love it.
It'll make Sage play real interesting real quick, depending on what they decide to do. Stronglegs is around that corner with that shotgun. You can see him waiting currently with the Judge. The push not necessarily coming through right off the bat. You can see the Rays kind of putting out feelers over on the B site in Hookah. Pure is jump peeking right now back behind the APC, but the push is starting to lean its way in, and you've got 2 players up on catwalk right now, on short, and that's Physic, who catches a dart in the back, tries to run. Stronglegs peeks with a shotgun, and that's a nice way to get things started here for the defense with this broken buy.
Certainly is. He's been tickled, though, but of course, being the Sage, there's the recovery, which is what Sage affords you, a massive lifeline. And if you get out of an angle, basically a jet out of jail free card. Okay, Anderson with the Ghost, winning the duel back in towards Hookah. And again, we might be seeing some of these thrifty buys coming into the fray this time for the Pretty Boys. Pure follows it up. The ult comes in, but the ult does not connect. A lot of ults being spent here to try and see this round through, but they're running out of time. And at this point, it's just about keeping them off. The Spy Dart comes in, the flank on, and regardless of the kills that come back away for a Proto, it's meaningless. And Stronglegs will get the final with the Judge, getting the upgrade as well, pulling off another thrifty buy. 2 more rounds in this half, but both sides have shown that regardless of the situation, they're bringing a fight to the fray.
That was a little awkward. That final fight, he goes for the reload as he jumps out the window and then starts getting shot. So he switches to his knife, then tries to bring his gun back out. Doesn't realize he was reloading because he was completely out of ammo. So he puts the rifle away and then brings it back out. And he's like, oh no. And it's just shot after shot. Judd, coming out from that the Judge from just a few feet away. And it's lethal at that distance, even if it takes a little bit of extra time. It will be the round
I've been
again.
Noticing I was just going to say the Judge, very effective at a lot of distances. I've been seeing some players start to complain, start to get a bit cranky about the shotguns in this game.
It's a little rough right now. in the meta, the Judge is actually becoming very strong depending on like where you play it and what agent you use. I saw for a while in the early stages of the beta, Cyphers would use it on this map when they had Cyphers playing more towards the A site and playing Showers, whereas towards the middle of the beta, they started moving them around the map a little bit more because you could sit right outside Showers with your tripwire and just blast people in the face with a shotgun.
Okay, Hunter escaping, just barely gonna get the shot. As a result, that nearly looked like a collateral. That's not to be, but here's the flank. Anderson's playing it safe, but a little bit too bold. Was trying to get the 2-for-1, maybe even the 3-1 lineup, but Stellar turns around just in time. Pure left to make some noise, but Pure exterminated. It's all onto Threefo. The new man on campus has to do it all. He's found the first. Nice scope in at that range to find the head. Take out a Proto. Looking for the player in the tuna can, knowing he's there, but there's 2 more as an insurance policy. This should be not possible for Threefo. Depending on the economy, might make sense to bring this rifle into the next round. Time's starting to become an issue as well. The health isn't there for Threefo. I think just looking for one last tick on the ultimate. If you could get a pick on that tuna can, maybe can find one on the periphery on the flank, but it's not to be. Threefo will play a safer game, get the heck on out of dodge, and they'll be able to save all the guns present through the use of that handy dandy teleporter. He'll even retrieve his tripwires. Nice little extra capital.
I realized why we were getting some heat about not knowing Threefo. He's a Fortnite player. That's why we didn't know. We're boomers. We were boomers. We never got into the Fortnite thing. We're just too old.
Yeah, no, I completely missed the wave on that one. I tried it out. I did have one of my best moments of pure gaming ever. One of my first games in Fortnite ever. I was playing with a friend, and I asked if there was bullet drop in the game. And I got the answer yes, immediately pulled the trigger, and one shot knocked somebody out. And I felt really cool in that moment.
Take flight.
One of my better maneuvers in any games. And as you know, from having played games with me, that's a low bar. But that's about all the Fortnite I've played, so no idea.
So I will say, I have to apologize for all you Threefo fans out there who were hating on us for it. I wasn't aware. I wasn't woke enough. So now I know. And I will make sure to keep myself in check for the future. It's rare that we see Fortnite players actually like compete successfully at a higher level. Usually they struggle. I've covered a couple of like influencer-based invitationals where there's been a couple of Fortnite players in both North America and Europe. And a lot of the times, the Fortnite players struggle, or BR players in general struggle. There was one player, Stormin. He's a Swedish BR player. He was really, really good at H1Z1. He played in the G2 European Brawl, and he was actually like one of the worst performers across the event, even though he has some of the most insane mechanics in BR games. It's a different style of game, so it doesn't translate always. So it's definitely an awkward transition. Here comes the push onto this A site, though, and you can see currently kills being exchanged in both directions. It's a 4-on-4. Make that a 4-on-3. Make it a 3-on-3 as kills again continue to volley back and forth. It was the rifle, then traded out by the shotgun. Pure is going to go ahead and go for an upgrade. Spike is planted more towards default. There's one coming in from spawn, one on U-Haul, and one also coming up from short. You've got the Brim in Showers currently. The Sage stuck on the Spike. That's Stellar. Strong Legs trying to work through from spawn in the vents with the Operator. Gunned down by a Proto. The Cypher right around the corner. It's now up to Pure trying to come through from the U-Haul. And look at this. He's disappeared into vents. It's a 1-on-2 now, and they're trading peaks. Pure is going to go ahead and go for the blast pack boost, but it doesn't work out so well for him. Flies right into the sights of Stellar, and we will have a 7-5 half in favor of Mixup.
That looked like a child jumping into their father's arms. Pure drops the blast pack, goes flying forward right into the waiting arms of Stellar, ready with those strong hands to catch. Just goes straight in for the final kill. So we do have that 2-5 lead, or 7-5 lead, sorry. 2-round lead, which is a little bit more distance than I thought it would almost be fitting if we wound up with a 6-6, just based on how back and forth this has been. But it doesn't tell us much about what's going to happen down the stretch here. For Mixup, though, a little bit favorable here. And, of course, the second half scoreboard issue does come through. So we will now just be tracking the careers of Pure and Thief as they really show us what's going on here. It's just a 1v1 now, folks. We're eliminating the remaining 4 players from either team. We just want to see the best of the best, not the best of the rest.
Take flight.
Oh. Owl going exploring here in towards Hookah. And I will let you take this away, Mark.
It's okay. It's okay, Mike. It's fine. I was just going to say, Physics using that Owl drone try and clear out Hookah with a 3-player defense, something that we see from a lot of teams lately. Playing 3 players on that B site for a long time in the meta, you would see a Cypher anchor with an additional rotator playing back towards spawn so they could flex quickly over towards the A site. But people have realized pretty quickly that a lot of Cypher utility is actually more useful on A, and you can see there's stuff set up in that direction currently. But Cypher's actually going to be on this B site with the rest of them, so even though the utility is sent elsewhere, he'll be peeking from over in the cubby, and it's a little bit dangerous right now, but he somehow managed to survive. The pistol's going to be piling up kills for both sides as they take the fight inside the can. It's down to now just 1 for the defense. It's Thief. Will he be able to sneak up behind them and steal the round away?
Anderson really demonstrating the use of that right click on the classic, but here's the spot, there's the headshots, and now it's just that player with almost no health remaining. Thief nearly found it, but it's going to be a headshot to boot as Thief finishes things off. Looking for a little bit of an upgrade here. There's just a ghost to be found, and the spike defuse will come through. A nice 1v2. Thief catching the flank, catching the periphery, and it's something that he's been very effective at in multiple titles, is getting into those odd angles where you're not quite expecting him. Obviously, in that situation, they should have been anticipating that someone might have come through the TP or pushed through from Hookah, but there's just so many angles to cover. When you're down to 2 bodies, you may not all be watching one. We're going to have another lead here for Mixup, but as we saw before, it was the eco rounds, the thrifty rounds for both sides that really caused some problems. Bringing in the sheriffs, bringing in the judges, maybe a little bit of a force buy coming in. I don't think so based on the fact that we're seeing ghosts right now, but it's sometimes a little bit hard to tell in the early. We could see another round where things get shaken up. If the Pretty Boys could do it, we got a game on our hands. If not, Mixup might just be on easy street. A nice wall to secure the ult orb. That's been claimed. Gives information as well as they try and pepper this down, but this shuts down the B long push right away. They will break the wall. But now with information lost, do they want to continue to commit to this fight, or are they going to go ahead and rock on out of here?
Starting to fall back. I'm going to be heading on over to the A site. You've got Raze and Brim both on the site. Will they be able to get past them, though? Again, you've still got that Cypher utility. So Thief jump peeking right now over APC. Hop in here as well. They start to push their way in. Hop in will get the first. They use that shock dart to take out the tripwires and utility in front of them. Recon dart into the site, not going to give away any positions. Hoppin going to pick off one. Anderson finds the response, though, onto Hoppin. Gunned down by A-Proto. As I say that, from the wall bang from A-Proto. A-Proto also traded out. It's a back-and-forth affair, but it ends up favoring Mixup as Thief will get the final 2, and 3 players will survive the onslaught on the site. The defuse gets stuck. Oh no. Just kidding. 9 rounds there for Mixup as the defenders take another round here.
That's an important round to come out with 3 as well. They're going to feel very comfortable going forward. They've got a bit of that economic buffer, presumably building here. They've got the 4-round lead. And again, as we talk about, this is a best of 1. It's do or die here. This is no longer the best of 3 situation where you get a chance to get out of it. You've got to make it work on this map. And Pretty Boys, they're running out of opportunities. You're going to have a rough situation for them if they can't get something going soon. Looks like, once again, they're going to hedge early on towards B, and this time it seems like it's just the 2-player setup. Then we may see the Cypher rotate late, and that's exactly what happens. Gets the utility set up, gets the kit set up, and uses that utility to basically operate as a 6th player. It's quite brilliant, actually. It just expresses so much control over the site. You'll frequently see teams use that to allow the Cypher to play solo, but this way, it's almost like you've got 3 towards either side. It's a bold strategy. Aggression in the hookah. Going to take some information, but they're playing it slow on the attacking side. Pretty Boys taking their time as they make inroads here. Just waiting to make some noise. The Owl going out from long once again. Will confirm that there's nobody here initially. I think the Cypher is escape notice. But here's going to be the spot. Here's going to be the angle. Nice clear from Pura. Goes for the second, but the trade is there from Thwifo. This is now a great situation and followed up as well, but a Proto still making a nuisance of himself, playing time, making sure that he can stay alive for longer and longer and longer. That's a nice nade back through, finally going to be cleared, and here in the back lines, Anderson commits to the fight instead of surviving the Roomba. He will die, but he gets one for his troubles, and that is well played indeed. Now advantage Pretty Boys, and recognizing that they have time as well, they're just going to bail out for the spike. 1 through the TP, 1 through the market. They are gone as ghosts. Thief going to be left to retake a site to make this happen. They'll be slowed a bit by some of these tripwires, but it's not going to be anything substantial. He does have confirmation, however, that they're in this position and having spotted the second he gets so much damage. They're so low here, Mark. Just a bare glimmer of hope, and Thief going to go for the overkill shot, but it doesn't connect, and Hunter, with the classic of all things, will wrap up the round.
You know he's disappointed with that rocket not actually connecting. He's like, I got this guy low. I assume he's right around the corner. Finds solace behind the default box, and then as soon as he switches off, it's just a wide swing with the pistol. A ballsy peek, no less. Both players were very low on HP, but sometimes you just got to take the round into your own hands. 9-6, Mixup 3 rounds over Pretty Boys. We do have the Brim ult on both sides of the Orbital Strike, as well as the Hunter's Fury for Hunter. Pure, currently top of the charts, unfortunately, due to the bug in the current version of the game. We only see one player on each side. It's not exactly ideal. Sometimes you can get it to work with a little bit of tabby tab at the halftime. At least if it goes to overtime, it will work. It will work.
It feels sometimes like Riot development with this UI is a wrathful god. With one hand they giveth, the other hand they taketh away. And for everything that we get as a new toy, there's something that gets taketh away. Hoppin'! I liked that angle. Thought the Sheriff might be able to yield something, but had to look two ways, and he pulls off at just the wrong moment. So he'll be dropped. Some decent damage done. Quifo might be able to convert it, but it's actually Thief to do so. The trade is there. Not a bad effort with the Sheriff. The problem is now the spike is down there in a retake. There's deep control towards short. And okay, players have just been wiped out. At this point, it's just Stellar with the Sheriff, who's got to think about what the priority is here. Can you somehow steal away a gun? Can you get another couple of picks, maybe get closer towards that res coming up? What's your decision here for Mixup? And he's actually going to back out. I do like that we can see player pings, just as it gives us some information about how they're communicating. I think we saw it in a couple rounds where a player would die and then mark the position that they died from to communicate to their teammates in the clutch. I do think, and I know this has been expressed from multiple people, that at this point, it's a bit of an issue. They're almost too powerful, since you can mark an angle on the minimap and then it'll show up in person so you know exactly where to spray through a smoke without actually knowing your lineups. To me, that's a bit concerning, but I also expect that to be adjusted as time goes on.
I've heard similar things from others as well, so we'll see. I mean, there's obviously a lot that could change with the way that this game develops over time. Yeah, I mean, I use the ping system pre-round on Haven to make sure that I'm shooting at the right spot. So when I want to take a shot through the wall at someone who's about to peek mid-window when I'm on B site playing Sage, I'll just pre-fire the wall. And it's stupid that I can pretty much ping exactly where the wall is. So the second that it breaks, I just start shooting as fast as I can right in front of it. And even though I could theoretically just do that anyway, it makes it a lot easier when I can literally look at the map and say, here's the wall, and I'll put a ping right here, and I just shoot at that spot. Pure has to fall back as the Owl drone puts a dart in his belly. Has to be careful as one was pushing through from Hookah, but that threat fades as the Sage decides to fall back.
To me, it's one of those little things that almost lowers the skill ceiling just a touch. Because in other iterations, when you don't have that ping, if somebody gets the perfect lineup through smoke, you know they spent hours and hours and hours iterating on that exact setup to make sure that they have the lineup, that they know their stuff, and that's impressive. Whereas in this, okay, you can ping it. It really does make it a little bit easier for those of us like you and me who maybe have less time to spend hours in the server figuring out our lineups, but it also makes it less impressive at the top level of play. Here we do have a take in towards A. The move is on. The Brimstone ult will open up the skies, but it doesn't net itself anything here. A nice trade in towards U-Haul, but it's coming back the other direction. Mixup holding the line quite effectively as Physic gets involved with the operator. In a bit of a tight angle, but he does get the escape from the player in U-Haul, and now the Hunter's Fury coming in. Physic just dropping him. It's actually Hoppin to take the kills. Just damage coming through from that ult, but he's scattered the forces with the spike now down and out in the open. The player cleared out towards U-Haul. What on earth can Quifo hope to do? 1v5, 1v4 rather, from the showers, and it is Stellar to put him out of his misery. 10 rounds now for Mixup. They are inching ever closer to that fabled 12th in map point.
Here's the thing with Orbital Strike. You're not necessarily going to convert on kills, but you are going to split a push in half. Like, people will, you'll hear it called a zoning ult. A lot of times they'll force people out of position. Sometimes you'll even force people through port. I've seen rounds get derailed because the spike goes into the port accidentally trying to avoid an Orbital Strike, and then all of a sudden they're alone. It's not like the rest of the team can go through and help them. They might be pushed into the site on the other side, so then things get real awkward because the spike has one decision. leave here and try to get back with my team, or wait and see what happens. Hopefully they find all the kills and then they can come back through and join me. They tried to ult as well on the offense to flush out the player in heaven, but there was just too much damage dealt. And then when the Hunter's Fury comes through, you could actually see there was a bold moment where Anderson went to toss the gun away. And I think he did successfully toss the gun over to Stronglegs, but the damage was already too far gone. Physic going to go ahead and pick one off as the dart in the chest going to give away the position. Hunter going to pop his Hunter's Fury. Named after himself, but he couldn't quite make it work, so we are at a 4-on-5. There's the res coming through from Stronglegs onto Anderson, so the Brim will be back in play. With a minute left on the clock, we're back at a 5-on-5.
It's a get-out-of-jail-free card. Taking back that early pick, giving yourself another chance at the swing. And we're running low on ults on either side. We still got the Raze and the Cypher for the Pretty Boys, so if they can drop a body here, get that knowledge out, it would be phenomenal. What a nice peek from Stellar. Takes Anderson back out. Doesn't matter if you've been brought back from the dead. You're going to be taken out of it. Stellar, no stranger to fighting the zombies. Just going to go for the 2-tap. We got a little bit of a peek. Physic. This is an interesting duel now. In Hookah. It's all the way back. He's found the angle, but Physic tracks it nicely. Dragon spitting fire. And taking the kills as a result. They're going to adjust. They're moving back in towards this A-take, but they're not expecting Thief, so he takes one, he takes two. No one's clearing his angles. He's worked his way just into the perfect spot. Doesn't quite find the third, but that's information and time running short. It will be Hunter get annihilated and pushed right back in towards the teleporter.
Despite the Brim on both sides, we haven't seen any of those Molly setups that we've seen from other teams, where you would say, like, you would see Spike planted towards APC on A, and you would just have the Brim sit back on short and kind of just wait and see what happens. We've seen instances where a Brim with an ult and a Molly can win a round, even if it's a 1v4, just by sitting in that position and just buying time. You toss the Molly out in the sky, and then wait a few seconds, and you can hit the ult, or do it vice versa. It doesn't matter. Ultimately, it's something you can't counter. The only thing you can do is push the Brim and hope you kill him before the Molly goes down. Because the Molly is just... It sucks. Molly is really powerful right now. And I've actually heard some pro players say, like, they're a little bit frustrated with it because they feel like there's no way you can counter it, because you can't. There's nothing you can do. You just have to wait. But I think that, again, is kind of the nature of all of the abilities. There's nothing you can do except just sit and wait. Here comes the ult, the showstopper into the site. I love the move from Pure, using that blast pack to get into position. Tosses out the rocket, doesn't anticipate Physic, who's in Hookah, who has to back off as the targets pile up in sight. It will fall onto just two here for the defense, as Thief is coming through. His position's given away by the dart. The Neural Theft also coming through, giving away his position. The nades are in Hookah, so that'll push one out. Hoppin started to come through from spawn. There's two right around the corner. Hoppin gets both, and now it's on to one. It's the Cypher, all alone in the corner, and it's a masterful retake from Mixup. They had the disadvantage as far as numbers were concerned, but when it came down to the weaponry, they were on top and ended up taking things to that 12th round, so they've guaranteed at least overtime, and it's looking like they'll probably close things out here.
It was a very nice play in the, I think it was Hoppin who was getting pushed into back in the, towards spawn. He doesn't bite on the first. There's the trade second. Obviously, they just have classics, so it's not a big deal to deal with, but it's still the patience to just wait for that second peak to come through and to deal with it. So now, we've got multiple opportunities for map points, specifically 5 of them in a row. The Pretty Boys need to mount a comeback here as their tournament hopes are slipping down the drain. There's Mixup with a chance to close this out, and they're comfortable to do so as well. It's going to be early control in towards the showers. Thief wants this fight. You know he does. Thief's not a player to back down from action. Threefo going to get chased down by the nade, and that space taken. Thief just trying to harass around the corner. Will think better of it. Actually catches with the satchel. The last one coming in just as an insult to end it all. Nicely done, Threefo. Out of here. Now a really tough situation for the Pretty Boys. They are down 2, or down 1 rather, in this round, as they have managed to trade it back just a little bit. But here's the tag, here's the information. Brim's gonna ult, but Brodo just tries to face it. The ult comes in, the showstopper from Thief comes back through, finding a kill in a second. As a little bit of an awkward spray battle, but it's Thief all in control of this round, and Stellar to take the final. 13-7 is our scoreline. Mixup will be advancing here. Pretty Boys, they had a good run through the lower bracket, but it seems they found their match.
Yeah, a couple of great rounds coming in from them. It was